many states, and President Trump, of course, saying that it is ripe for fraud, Chicago mail carriers are now threatening to quit if the city refuses to control the crime. Of course, they're going to say this is all President Trump's fault, even though he's offered Mayor Lori Lightfoot federal assistance to stop the crime. Before we go further, if you're watching for the first time, please do make sure that you hit the red subscribe button and you turn on your notifications so we can bring you real news and opinion every day. Before I go further, you know, life has never looked so uncertain as it does right now, and if you were laid off, your old IRA or 401k might hold thousands of dollars. To find out more about unlocking your own hidden treasure and receive a solid silver 5-ounce $1 Apollo 11 moon landing coin with each qualifying IRA, call my friends at Noble Gold at 877-646-5347. You do not want to miss this opportunity. Now, back to the news. Emily Zanotti for the Daily Wire reports United States Postal Service workers who deliver mail on Chicago's south and west sides are threatening to halt service to select neighborhoods after a mail carrier was shot while on the job in the city's Burnside neighborhood. Quote, the 24-year-old woman who works as a United States Postal Service mail carrier was shot 91st Street and Ellis Avenue just after 11:35 a.m. while on the job. That's according to ABC7 Chicago, reported earlier in September. Chicago Fire Department, quote, Chicago Fire Department officials said she was critically hurt after being shot multiple times. The mail carrier was not the shooting's intended target, Chicago police officials said. They say put her Southside route put her in the middle of a neighborhood racked by gun violence. According to ABC7, she is the second mail carrier wounded by gunfire while walking her route. Quote, in March, another Chicago letter carrier was shot while delivering mail in Brighton Park. He was caught in gang crossfire and told ABC7 he feels fortunate he was not more seriously injured from a shot to the back of his head. The United States Postal Service is offering a $50,000 reward for information on the shooting that leads to an arrest and reminded Chicago residents in the same notice that any attack on a mail carrier is a federal offense. The mail carrier, at least report, was still in serious condition at a local hospital. They also state here that on Friday, the Chicago postal workers joined in a protest demanding that the city put a stop to gun violence. If they do not, Chicago postal workers may stop delivering mail to affected neighborhoods. Watch.
Now, a larger issue that has emerged in all of this, union leaders say that letter carriers will refuse to deliver mail if they don't feel safe, and they are warning that entire Chicago neighborhoods could lose home delivery service due to fears of gang conflicts in neighborhoods across the city.
Wow. Chicago's homicide rate has dropped since early August when federal officials working with Operation Legend, a program designed to pair federal resources with crime control units in 14 major cities, began working with Chicago police, but violence continues at a rate much higher than in previous years. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report for the Next News Network. I'm Gary Franchi. Thank you for watching.
Good morning to all my fellow Americans. You see what's happening.
Before COVID came along and they let you go, you might have left behind.
I could understand this situation because I used to be a letter carrier here in the island of Puerto Rico. Oh, by the way, my name is Eduardo Rodriguez. A salute to all my fellow Americans and veterans of the DAV, for which I am a member, Chapter 11. And a salute to all veterans of all organizations. And never forget those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in order to keep our country free. Well, like I was saying about the letter carriers, I saw myself in situations where one time delivering mail, I had to go into this like a project. It's like a type of project here in Puerto Rico, which is like public apartments complex, and for the poor, for the very poor. And when I went into this centralized building that they had, like in the middle of the complex, the people had to stay outside until I finished delivering the mail inside each box. Then they could come, they could go and take out their mail. Well, they went inside the building where I was at, and they had the security guard that looks like a joke. The guy it was a joke. I mean, the guy looked like he was ready to cry because they had all these mobs and lowlifes playing around with him and looking at me like, you know, like it was all.
Right, okay, so, right, parked. I think that will reach mark. Okay, so now I press charger. I'm at the Ionity 150 kilowatt charger, and now I'm going to charge it. Let's see what happens. I think this is really clever. Why can't I open the... Why? It's all so straightforward. Ah! Now look at this. I love this. This is very simple. So if you want your Type 2, press that one. If you want your CCS, press that one. And then you just plug it in. You just plug in the CCS. Oh, something's happening. Oh, it's going. I'm so happy about this because so this is the first time I've ever charged an electric car with no cards, no app. It's the car that communicates with the charger. You're still paying for the electricity. This actually costs €8 a session, but it doesn't charge by the kilowatt hour yet, but they're going to adjust that. These have only just been installed. But that is now charging. I'm going to go and check inside to see what speed it's charging, but it's charging up to 110 kilowatts. That's what it can put in. I think the chargers can do more than that. I think they can do 150, but this car takes 110. So I'm going to have a look. So this is a little honesty update. When I came round here and I couldn't open the charger door, it was because I hadn't turned the car off, okay? Okay, the car was still on, okay? Anyone can make that mistake. I made it, all right? Apology of the episode number 400. So that's why we had a bit of trouble. I went around it the wrong way. It's the first time I've ever done it. But what we've got now, so the car, okay, so you order the charge from the car, and then before you get out and plug it in, and I left it too long, and then it cancels the charge because it thinks you're not going to charge the car. So then we used the phone app, which actually, to be honest, was very, very simple to connect to that charger. It's the same process. So you choose the number of the charger. This is how Fastnet works. All those things work. And so it's now charging it at 74 kilowatts. So not 100, because it's not empty. This is why when you do a test drive of an electric car, you actually need it for a week. So you can run it right down and then charge it and then see how fast it really does charge when it's low. So it was over 50% when we plugged it in. It's now at 57% very quickly. And we've got something like 120 kilometers more range than we need. So this is really just for exhibitor purposes. And we're quite tired because it's very hard doing this. We both got up at 4 o'clock this morning, okay? I'm just not making excuses. I didn't stop the car before I tried to open the door. But what's great is that these chargers, brand new, they'll charge up to 150 kilowatts. And obviously, if you're on a long drive, you've got a low battery, plug it in here, it'll charge it very quickly. You've got Luz and a Circle K just over there, and even a Selvask, which is a self-wash. Lovely.
Well, here, once again, the video had froze on me, but no, that's okay. I'm still gonna keep on until I finish. What I was explaining, well, like I said, this mob had gone into the area where I was working at. And like I said, the security guard was just a joke. You know, I don't blame him because the guy was short. I'm a short guy too, but I had the authority at that moment as a postal worker. You know, they had to respect me because I'm carrying their checks and the mail and, you know, a whole bunch of other things that they want to get or they're waiting to receive. So, you know, I told them, hey, you're going to have to go outside because I can't allow you here in this area while I'm putting the mail in the boxes. They wouldn't listen to me, and they were making fun of the security guard. So, you know, I said, if you don't leave right now outside while I'm in here, I'm going to close everything up and I'm going to leave with all the mail. They thought I was just joking, and they weren't paying any attention to me. They think it was just a joke, and that they didn't believe me. So what I did is I packed up, locked the door. I said, go outside, I gotta lock the door. Locked the door, got on the vehicle and left with all the mail. The next day when I came back in to see if they learned something, definitely, bingo, it worked. When I closed it, this time I closed the door. There was like, I closed the door. I went in. You know, they left me all by myself, and everything turned out fine. You know, I placed all the mail, no problem. You know, it worked out fine. When you put pressure and you're the authority at that moment, it works. You know, they're not going to threaten the postal service. They know they're not going to receive their checks or important mails or medications from the VA or whatever it is. You know, they'll have people control the situation for you if they don't respect. So I didn't even need the security guard, which was a real joke. You know, they didn't even respect the guy. They were taking off his hat and other people were putting on his hat, you know, his security guard hat, and playing around with his hair. And you know, the guy looked at me like he wanted to cry. Like, hey, I can't, you know, like ready to cry. But you know, hey, I fixed it. I fixed the situation. I showed him who's the boss. And in another occasion, I went into this other public complex in the area, and it was a drug infested. The other place was a drug infested, but this one was worse, one of the worst. And a guy came down with a sawed-off shotgun, and he injected himself with a drug right there in front of me, right in his leg, and with a shot-off shotgun. You know, this I'm telling you, this situations where, you know, I let it go, but then I realized that one of the postal workers refused to go in because at one time there was even a shootout. The guy even went on the radio. They interviewed him on the radio, and because there was a shootout, he refused to go in. Said, "No, I'm not going to go in there unless it's centralized." So you know, the postal service heard about the situation. So what they did is they hold on the mail. Everybody had to go get the mail at the postal service until they got an area where it was centralized. Problem over. Now all the people had to go to this area, the centralized building, where they could go pick up their mail. No more at each section of the buildings. It was centralized, and the problem was solved. But I'm telling you, this will fix the problem. I mean, if these postal service refuse to go and service because of the crime wave that's hitting Chicago, and this I forgot her name. I know it's Lightfoot. I forgot the first name. Oh, Lori Lightfoot. You know, she refused to comply and to wake up and see the situation, because this lady, she's a communist. They're communists. They don't care. They don't care. It's like New York with de Blasio. It's like Gavin Newsom in California. These communists, what they'll do, they destroy, and nothing happened here. So you know, that's a good way of fixing things. Before I showed the last video, which I'm going to go with, the state of Florida, don't forget to vote for Maria Elvira Salazar for Congress. She's a conservative, a true patriotic conservative who put a stop to these communists in Congress who are trying to take over, who still call themselves a Democrat Party, but it's really now the Communist Islamic a terrorist syndicate criminal organization financed by George Soros and the Democrats. So let me see this other video I wanted to put down here. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Oh, okay, I found it. And let me see what, okay, and don't forget, Donald Trump, whoever hears this or sees this video, get to Donald Trump that, hey, we could do the same thing like we've done to Venezuela, where we named Juan Guaido as temporary president of the Republic of Venezuela. Let's do the same thing with the president of Cuba. Let's freeze the accounts of the communists and name Jose Daniel Ferrer Garcia as president of the Republic of Cuba until new elections without the participation of communists, without the participation of any type of criminal terrorist organization, without Islamism, fascism, Nazism, none of that. And it's not a violation of the Constitution, it's the protection of the same. So, I don't care what any constitutional will tell me. You could tell anybody else who might believe you, but not me. I believe that nobody who attempts to overthrow a duly elected president or burn down cities and murder people in order to impose their ideas should be allowed to participate in any public service or any political, any political yearly participation to vote for. Some words won't come out of my head. But, that's the way I believe it. It should be. None of these people should participate. None of these people should be allowed. The contrary, we could give them the choice. You like communism? We've got a choice for you. We're going to send you to Korea. You'll turn in your citizenship. We'll send you to North Korea, or we'll send you to the Islamic State. Which one do you choose? And you're going to stay there permanently because we don't want you back. Once you give up your citizenship. And if it's for a crime, we can cancellate that citizenship and still send them, no matter whether they like it or not. And the lawyer who defends them too. And you're going too. Bye. Defend him over there. See how much luck you got. I bet you he'll change his mind. He said, no, send him alone. I changed my mind. I'm a conservative. They'll change their mind. So like I said, I'm going to go with this last video, which says here, whoa, former Chicago Mayor Ryan Manuel drops the hammer on Nancy Pelosi. So Donald Trump, I always pray for you and your family. God bless you always. God protect you. The same with Mike Pence and his family. I stand with God and Israel eternally. And God bless my country eternally. So I'll see you guys soon. And God bless.
This is interesting. The former Chicago Mayor, Rahm Emanuel, dropping the hammer on Nancy Pelosi's politics. Before I get into this report, if you're new to the channel, I invite you to tap the red subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when the latest news breaks. A quick note before we go further, did you know that Bitcoin is up 70%? While the darling of Wall Street, the NASDAQ, has only made 33% gains? Yes, my friends, Bitcoin has no constraints. If you're up for great rewards, listen to the trends and call Noble Bitcoin today. That number, 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347, or tap the link in the description below. Now, back to the news. 100% fed up reports that the former Chicago mayor and Obama administration, Rahm Emanuel, stepped out of the line with the Democrats who usually march in lockstep with Pelosi to call out the speaker for her corrosive politics. It happened during an interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos, who's also a Clinton operative. Emanuel says that one-upping someone is corrosive to our politics. Watch.
And
So
this
does
is
that
purely-
justify keeping something like impeachment on the table? Does that mean that that's that?
I don't think that's the reason I reject that politics, and I understand the speaker. I would never underestimate her to look at all of her efforts and all of her tools. But the idea of talking about impeachment is somehow retribution, that is what is corrosive to our political system, that somehow we have to one-up them. I actually think when you look at Ginsburg, one of the things people loved about her was even when she disagreed with Scalia, she had a friendship.
Friendship. Stephanopoulos interviewed Pelosi over the weekend where she referred to the things that Democrats can do to harm President Trump's effort to nominate a new Supreme Court justice. They write that when ABC's George Stephanopoulos asked Pelosi about how she's fighting President Trump over following through with his duty as president to nominate a Supreme Court justice, Pelosi had a glitch of some kind because she responded by saying, "Good morning," Sunday morning. Of course, this was mid-interview, and it came out of left field because she was just asked a simple question. Let's watch.
When people say, what can I do? You can vote, you can get out the vote, and you can do so as soon as possible. 10 states, as I said, on Friday, started their early voting the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning, Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the
What a
Constitution
witch.
of the United States. We have a responsibility to meet the needs of the American people. That is, when we weigh the equities, protecting our democracy requires us to use every arrow.
The same democracy she wants to destroy. What a
Good
liar.
morning. Good Sunday morning to you. What's going on there? I don't know. I mean, as we've stated in previous reports regarding that last clip, the question has been asked, did she have a stroke? The article here states, asked the question, was this her odd way of getting out to telling details of what she will do to President Trump? Yeah. Either way, Emmanuel thinks it's corrosive. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report for the Next News Network. I'm Gary Franchi.